Hello, everyone. Roger Balzer here. Today, I'd like to share my definition of what I call true freedom. So, about 15 years ago, I knew a guy who was on what I call a financial rocket ship. Just call him Johnny V. He had a great house, nice family, successful business, really solid income. But then things changed. With the benefit of hindsight, it was clear bought a little too much house, spent a little too much money. At the beginning, it was rewarded for buying the house. Its value went up a lot in a very short period of time. For context, imagine anywhere in America in 2007. Houses were selling even before they hit the official market, and for way more than the asking price. Kind of sounds like today, doesn't it? Things continued to go well for Johnny V, and he decided to borrow money against the equity in his home. He was going to start a new business. But not long after, a rocket ship, well, sprang a leak, ran out of fuel. Value of his home dropped, and in fact, the house eventually was worth less than what he paid for it. Then his income dropped significantly because his business was tied closely to the housing market. He lost his Cadillac Escalade, his BMW 5 Series, his house, and worse, his marriage. It was over. He declared bankruptcy, moved out of the neighborhood. We lost touch. Again, with the benefit of hindsight, this story looks like a series of obvious mistakes. But to his credit, Johnny V, he took full responsibility for every one of those decisions. Along the way, he dealt with a mental and physical stress while trying to juggle the web of consequences arising from his experience. I imagine you can relate personally to this story or know somebody who can. Given our history of booms and busts over our lifetime, you've probably watched some version of this story play out, probably more than once. Recently, I ran into Johnny V, and he had a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff really changed and went well in his life. He's now got a positive net worth. His relationships are better than he ever thought. He bought a new but much smaller house. He's taken steps to avoid repeating earlier mistakes. I remember him asking, Raj, what did I do wrong to deserve that bad experience I had when I lived next to you? And what did I do right to deserve the good experience that I'm having right now? I noticed the loaded language basically, with the emphasis on whether he was deserving. Over a series of conversations, I talked through Johnny V's story, realized he could only identify the mistakes he made with the benefit of hindsight. It's often the case. It's very easy to look backwards and make up stories about why certain things happened and then either take the blame or credit for them. In reality, he was simply doing the best he could with the knowledge and experience he had at the time. But when we look back at our stories, we need to be careful because, as I told Johnny V, I can't define exactly what you did to deserve the bad stuff or to deserve the good stuff. Now, if you fast forward 5 years, though, from now, things have been going well. You could end up homeless, or you can end up over in a private jet, or anything in between. And if you get yourself to accept that fact, you know, Johnny, you'll finally be free. It took him a while to understand what I meant. But he realized I was talking about the freedom we feel when we let go of the idea that we deserve any specific outcome. Think about it for a moment. People who say they believe they can control their future. They tell themselves a story that if they just plan carefully enough, they can achieve certainty about what's going to happen in their lives. For years, many of us have believed this myth. In reality, life is irreducibly uncertain. It doesn't make us more or less successful or more or less happy. The true joy in life, the real peace, comes when we let go of the idea we deserve a predetermined happy ending. Of course, we're going to have a goal on the horizon and we will be headed toward it. We will be making progress, making steps towards it. But we may wake up tomorrow and say, I'm not sure that's the best direction to go. We may have to do a course correction. We need to ask ourselves, have things changed? Has our goals changed? Does it feel too hard? Past few years I've been working on both having goals and accepting the reality of uncertainty. In fact, I embrace the uncertainty and I try to say to myself, given that goal and given the uncertainty, what's the next step to be done next? I repeat this over and over and over again. They're just micro, small moves. Every once in a while, I stick my head up and I say, am I still headed towards that goal? Do I still want that goal? If the answer is yes, I know I'm uncertain to get there, but for now, I think that's where I want to go. I put my head back down, figure out what's the next micro action to take, and then I go after it and I go for it. Now, whatever the goal, we can learn to trust ourselves and deal with the reality of uncertainty. And for me, that's the definition of true freedom. Once we deal with the reality of uncertainty. I'm looking forward to your questions and feedback as always. Please send your comments via email to roger@balzerwealth.com. Know I read and respond to every one of them. That's roger@balzerwealth.com. Look forward to next time. Until then, make it a great day.